All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get started. We have chapter 3.2. We're going to solve just basic inequalities, and we're going to use addition and subtraction today. So that's our goals for today. Hopefully after today's notes, you can mark off gotched it, boom. We had a little bit of a warm-up. So as we take a look, we're going to do examples 1 and 2 and go through example 3 real quick. So as it says, a student will study French for at least 3 years. Which inequality describes this situation? So it's got to be at least 3 years. So that could be 4 or 5, or it could even be 3. So when we see at least, we talked about the other day, that was greater than or equal to. They're using the variable y and 3. So we end up with y has got to be greater than or equal to 3 here. If we look at number 2, it says all employees of a company work less than 40 hours. So again, less than is the key word there. That looks like that. Which inequality describes the situation? Again, hours, we're using H for hours, and then we're doing less than 40. So as I take a look, that is F. And last but not least, we have number 3. It says, which number is a solution of the inequality 7x minus 5 is greater than or equal to negative 2? As we take a look, they have different numbers that we can plug in. And you guys can start with negative 3. And take a look. This is a way to check your work. So we're going to plug in negative 3 here. And we simplify. 7 times negative 3. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally as I'm solving this. That gives me negative 21 minus 5. And if I have negative 21 minus 5, if you owe me 21 bucks and borrow 5 bucks, now you owe me 26 bucks. Now, if you're an alligator, do you want to be negative 26 people or negative 2? Which one's more bigger, I guess you could say? What's more bigger? What's the larger of the two? And this is not facing the right way, so this is a no. Okay, so that is not an answer. Okay, and from there we can go through and plug in negative 1. We've got, I'll use blue again. I got 7x minus 5 is greater than or equal to negative 2. Plug in negative 1. 7 times negative 1 is negative 7 minus 5. Negative 7 minus 5 is negative 12. Is that facing the bigger one? The answer is no, so that one does not work. And we can try C is 0. We can plug in 0. 7 times 0, 0 times anything is 0 minus 5. 0 minus 5 is negative 5, and that is greater than or equal to negative 2. Yes or no? Is that facing the bigger one? So the last one has to work. Has to. I'm going to double check though. So I've got 7x minus 5 is greater than or equal to negative 2. So from yesterday's work, this is just how we can check it. We can plug in 1. 7 times 1 is 7 minus 5. And 7 minus 5 is 2. Is 2 greater than or equal to negative 2? Yes. So the answer is D. So final answer is D, F, and D. All right, gang. So we're going to go ahead and dive into goal number 1. Again, we're going to use addition and subtraction. This was all reviewed from the other day, from yesterday. We have example 1, y minus 2 is less than negative 7. So the first thing we need to do is opposite sign over. So the opposite of minus is plus. If you do it to one side, you must do it to the other side. So we end up with y, negative 2 and 2 cancel, is less than, and negative 7 plus 2 we should know is negative 5. So we just solved it. They also asked us to graph it, and then you can plug in values and just verify that it works. So here's negative 5. Yesterday we said open or close dot. Because it's not equal to, it's open. And less than, we said less than is like an arrow to the left. So it's shaded to the left. Okay. You can plug in different numbers like negative 5 or negative 6 or negative 7 or negative 8. And negative 7 is less than negative 5, so it works out. All right, let's try it again. Number 2, I've got v plus 6 is greater than 5. The opposite of plus 6, we should know, is minus 6. If you do it to one side, you must do it to the other side. So as we go through, I got v is greater than, this cancels, 5 minus 6. The bigger number is negative, so it's got to stay negative, negative 1. So my answer is that v is greater than negative 1. So here's negative 1, and we said, is that an open dot or closed dot? If it's not equal to, we say open. And that greater than sign, greater than has an R in it, that is going to the right. So final answer there is negative 1 to the right. All right. So as we take a look at the next one, example 3, working our way down. What do we do next? So example 3, I have 12 is greater than or equal to c minus 2. The idea is we're trying to get the c by itself. The first thing I would do is add the 2. The opposite of minus 2 is plus 2. So I get 14 is greater than or equal to c. Now we talked about that's Yoda, that's backwards, right? That's silly. So change the position of c and 14, and over here in blue, the alligator's is eating the 14 people. So flip this around so it's eating the 14 people. And then we graph it. So this is my answer. Again, variable and equality sign number. And then we graph, here's 14. Because it's equal to, that's a solid dot. And then less than looks like an L. It has an L in it. Less than starts with the letter L. That is to the left. So C is less than or equal to 14. And the same thing happens on 4. I have 8 is less than or equal to F plus 4. Well, we want to get this F all by itself, so we got to move this plus 4 over. Well, how do we move a plus 4? We use the opposite sign. We subtract it. 8 minus 4, we all know, is 4. And that's less than or equal to F. Yoda. Hard to see the dark side is. So that is backwards. We need to flippity-flip this guy around. F and 4, and now the alligator was eating the F. So when you flip everything around, the alligator should be eating the F. And when I go ahead and graph this guy, here's 4. Because it's equal to, it's inclusive on 4, so I make that darkened in, a solid dot. And greater than is to the right. Greater than, right. They both have R's in it. And again, this is an arrow pointing you which way to go. Okay. So it's pretty basic, right? Pretty easy peasy lemon squeezy. So we take a look at number 5. We try to make this a little harder, and we just deal with some decimals. Okay, so nothing hard here. Anytime you guys want to use your calculator, you can. But if I want this n by itself, the only thing I got to do is plus the 0.9 over, or 0.9. Plus 0.9 over, so that these guys cancel. If you need to, take 22.5 and add 0.9. We should get 23.4, and that is still less than n. Again, Mr. Gotch says that is backwards. That is improper. We need to flip it around. Yoda, n in 23.4 should be written like that, and the alligator's eating the n. It should be eating the n again. So that's my final answer. I get n is greater than 23.4. Okay. Again, if you need to, use your calculator, but a lot of times these decimals are pretty easy. Okay. All right, so let's graph this thing. 23.4 looks like that. 4, not 5. And all right, so hopefully we can see what I did here. I added 0.9 over, and I got 23.4 is less than n. Flippy that around. I get n is greater than 23.4. Again, this is an open dot on 23.4, and it's greater than, that's to the right. It's pointing to the right, which way to shade. Okay, so final answer, n is greater than 23.4, and it is graphed to the right. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's flip it on over to the other side. We got a couple of examples left. If I take a look, example 6. If I read this guy for you, I have 1/7 plus D is less than 1 2/7. I'm a big fan of changing this mixed number, so I'm going to go ahead and change that. D. And just a reminder how to do that. We take and diagonally multiply. 7 times 1 is 7. And we add 2 and put it over our denominator. So 7 plus 2 is 9 over 7. Okay. So again, yes, you do have to do fractions. If you're not very good with fractions, you can always use your calculator. I'm going to subtract 1/7 to both sides to get this D by itself. Again, that's a plus 1/7. You just don't see the plus sign. So make sure you subtract the 1/7. Again, if you're bad with fractions, that's okay. 8 out of 7 people are bad with fractions. Look at that. 8 out of 7. Dun-dun. 8 out of 7 people are bad with fractions. So I should get D is less than 8 over 7. And now I can graph this guy. Here's 8 over 7. If you change that to 1 1/7, that would also work. That would be an open dot and to the left. Okay. So 8 over 7, or if you had 1 1/7. Okay. Either one of those I would accept. Okay. Some of you guys maybe also notice if you subtract 1/7 from 2/7, it goes right to 1 1/7. Again, sometimes you might have to use the mixed numbers. Again, it's there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got one more question for you guys. Example 7 says the goal of a toy drive is to donate more than 1,000 toys. The toy drive already has collected 300 toys. How many more toys does the toy drive need to meet its goal? Write and solve an inequality and find the number of toys. So again, I always like to have a variable. I'm going to make it X. This is the number of toys still needed. Okay. So as we take a look, we have to donate more than 1,000 toys. The toy drive already has collected 300 toys. So I've started with 300. If I add it to the number of toys still needed, we want that to be more than 1,000. So this would be my inequality. The number of toys I have collected already, plus the number that we still need, we want that to be more than 1,000. Okay. Last thing we're going to do is go ahead and move this 300 over using subtraction. This is already positive, so I'm going to subtract it over. Sometimes I'll see you guys do plus 300. Well, 300 plus 300 is 600, so it's not canceling out. We want these to cancel. And now we get X is got to be greater than 700 toys. Okay. So final answer, we get X is greater than 700 toys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is a short lesson for you, just 7 quick questions. You guys should have enough information to get started with your 3-2 worksheet, and you guys have a great day.